Now, the maritime industry is vast and incorporates various fields such as shipbroking, ship financing, as well as many others. So joining us in studio this morning to tell us more about exactly what this industry entails is Holger, who is from the College for Business and Maritime Studies. And of course, we do invite you at home, particularly if you want to participate in conversation with us, or if you've got a question about the maritime industries, give us a call on 011 537 9337 or 9338. Also, do remember that we are available on Facebook as well as Twitter for all of your comments. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Holger.
Thank you, Faith. Good morning, viewers.
Now, talking about the maritime industries, a lot of times there's almost like a misconception because maybe there's not enough awareness regarding the various opportunities within the industry in itself. So take us through some of those opportunities.
Thank you, Faith. Well, that's one of the biggest problems that we face. CBMS, College for Business and Maritime Studies. What we do is that we're trying to create awareness throughout the high school sector when we go and visit schools to let them know what the maritime sector is all about.
Yeah.
Because if you speak to any person who is not aware of what maritime is about, they associate maritime equals on ships. But there's so many industries behind the scenes and which are directed to the maritime industry. You're looking at shipbroking, you're looking at the construction, you're looking at the business solution sectors, you're looking at the banking sectors. All of that revolves around the maritime industry, the actual port operations. And let's not forget, Faith, one of the most important aspects is, of course, the maritime industry, because trade generates revenue for our country, right?
Yeah.
And without trade, we don't have an import and export, we don't have a GDP to grow. And with the lack of awareness that we are having, unfortunately, and this is what we're experiencing, we can't really have the growth that we are aspiring to. And that's one of the aspects that we as CBMS, College for Business and Maritime, for instance, together with some other great institutions like SAMSA, which is the South African Maritime Safety Association, are trying to drive this awareness. But it is a struggle, but through passion and desire and dedication to create this awareness, we are making slowly but surely headways.
Okay, so now we're talking about, obviously, those industries within, we're talking about trade, about shipbroking, we talked about, you can also be a marine biologist if you want to be a marine biologist. So all of those sectors of industry, exactly, what are my qualifications? So let's say that I want to be specifically focused on the construction side of things, where I want to help with the manufacturing of the ship, so I want to help with the manufacturing of the infrastructure that will allow for ports to be able to trade effectively and efficiently. What must I do from high school?
Well, one of the things is, well, for instance, what we offer our students is that we offer a 2 or a 3-year diploma or a degree program, which incorporates all of your entire port operations. So if you're looking at directly construction, for instance, right, on the port operations, one should first go and understand actually the fiscal part, the operations of how port actually functions. This is one of the great operations that we have, that we do provide. Also, Transnet, for instance, does have that. But again, it is the awareness that needs to be created. And this...
And of course, if I want to be like a captain, I'm just thinking now, maritime industries, all of these things are flowing in my head now. If I want to be a ship captain, if I want to actually operate a ship and be the captain of a ship, what do I need?
Oh, for a ship captain, one of the things, of course, is unfortunately maths, as with most subjects.
Maths, yes.
Absolutely, of course. But we don't really have naval bases here in Johannesburg, as I know we are a city, inland city. But we do have, of course, Simonstown, which does cater for the cadet schools. We do have 1 or 2 smaller schools which are also based in and around Durban and the Cape Town Harbour. But most importantly, Faith, you know, the captain is just one small part of it. It is, again, like the elite sector versus the people that can actually fall within the maritime industry, which creates such a vital part to the entire supply chain of the maritime group. And this is what we're really trying to highlight.
Well, you guys are really articulating the passion behind the need to create awareness. So exactly what's being done to create this awareness? And I'm not only looking for individuals that are in the more urban areas. Take me to a kid who is far away, you know, whether it's in the Eastern Cape or somewhere, you know, someplace where this information may not necessarily get to them. What's being done to ensure that that young person knows that there's something called the maritime industries and I can be a part of it?
Well, Faith, what we do at CBMS, College for Business and Maritime Studies, I mean, we do not target the urban areas. Right? We're going out to the Rustenburgs, to the Polokwane, into the deep into the Popo areas, right? And to really have roadshows out there to promote the industry, to actually make them aware of what's going on. But the unfortunate thing is, once you do manage to get the interview and to get them to have the roadshow, you first even need to explain to the head of education of the schools as well. Because again, the industry is not being highlighted, it's not being made aware of. They don't understand what maritime's all about. So your first half of the day is kind of taken up by the explanation of what the maritime industry is all about, and which is great because we've got a passion and desire to really promote the industry. You've got, as mentioned, SAMSA, the South African Maritime Safety Association, who have now also come together with SAIMI, which is the South African International Maritime Institute, who we are part and parcel of, to form a greater awareness group. There's small pockets that are trying to generate this awareness, but I think there needs to be a more collaborative work from all sectors, private and government, so that we can really highlight this industry. Because without the maritime sector, without the port, without the people that are operating behind the scenes, well, unfortunately, there's not going to be any growth in this country.
And of course, there's not going to be transformation, and it's always going to be a select few who are able to champion this cause. But now in that regard, if I'm a young person, I'm watching this, I'm thinking, this sounds like a very interesting career. First of all, take me through my requirements. What do you require of me? Do I need to be able to swim? Do I need to be able to do maths and science? What do I need?
Great. Well, the great thing is, Faith, you don't need to swim.
Oh, that's good.
And it is, again, because a lot of South Africans aren't privileged to that kind of opportunity. But coming back to what is required, for instance, from us, we offer international qualification, which is an NQF level 5, and we are accredited locally and in over 130 countries. And most importantly, we are industry recognized.
Okay.
Because we provide a practical experience and a knowledge of 50 years from third world infrastructure to first world mechanisms, which we blend seamlessly together with our dedicated and passionate staff. And to ensure that we bridge that gap from a normal school level, which just needs to have a matric.
So from normal school level, you need a matric, and then you go into the various, we were mentioning various institutions that are actually involved with the maritime sectors. And then from there, you get your qualification. From there is the actual practical side of it. And speaking of that practical side, rands and cents, am I going to make money if I'm going into the maritime industries?
Well, of course, that's, I think, the most important question. If I can just quickly highlight about my story. When I finished school, had no idea what I wanted to do. Like a lot of kids out there, I wasn't the elite that had access to universities.
Yeah.
And thanks to my father, who's the founder actually of the institution, he said, well, why don't you come join the industry? Because he has been part and parcel of the industry for 35 years. 2 years later, I've worked out with 10 diplomas. That's what we offer on our course, which is all international. And, well, Faith, the great thing is that I had an amazing career. Within 2 years, I have managed to work for a big global company. They've asked me to move to Cape Town, so I got paid to travel. We live in Cape Town.
You're talking all my favorite things there, but we have to leave this conversation there for this morning. But I like a good news story. It means that there are more opportunities for others as well, I like in the South African context. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, Holger, and for sharing your experiences as well.
Absolutely fair. Thank you. Thank you, viewers.
All right, we've been speaking to Holger Schonfeld, speaking to us about the career in the maritime industry. You heard it from him. You can make money in this industry, and of course.